After 3 years of marriage, I asked about kids. She said, I care more about my body than being a mother. So, I packed my bags and walked away from it all. I never thought I'd be the guy posting on Reddit about something like this. But here I am, trying to make sense of something that still doesn't feel real. My name's Aiden. I'm 32. My wife, Zoe, is 30. We've been married for a little over 3 years now. Honestly, most of it has been good, better than good, even. We met in our late 20s at a mutual friend's 4th of July barbecue. She's smart, ambitious, works in marketing, and has always been into fitness, gym, yoga, Pilates, all of it. It's something I've always admired about her. Our relationship was fun, supportive, and full of adventures. We traveled, built careers, bought our first home together, and just lived. But in the back of my mind, I always assumed that starting a family would be part of that life eventually. We talked about it a few times while dating, casual conversations like, someday, maybe 2 kids. At least that's what I remembered. Fast forward to now. Our careers are stable. Our house has space. Financially, we're in a good place. I felt like it was finally time to bring it up seriously. Not pressure her, just talk about it. Last Saturday, we were having coffee in the kitchen. Nothing fancy, just a quiet morning. I brought it up as casually as I could. Hey, have you thought any more about starting a family? I feel like we're at a good point now. She didn't answer right away. Instead, she kept stirring her coffee, eyes kind of locked on the spoon. I waited. Then finally, she let out this sigh and said, Aiden, I don't think I want kids. At first, I thought she meant not right now. Like, maybe in a year or 2. So I asked, you mean not yet? Or, she shook her head. No, not ever. It hit me like a punch I didn't see coming. I blinked, trying to process it. Wait, I thought we always talked about having kids. You used to say maybe 2. Zoe leaned back against the counter, arms folded. I said maybe. I never promised. I've been thinking about it for a while, and it's just not something I want. I asked the only question that made sense at the moment. Why? And her response, I don't think I'll ever forget it. She looked me dead in the eye and said, I care more about my body than being a mother. Pregnancy ruins your figure. Stretch marks, sagging, weight gain. I work hard to stay fit and look good. I don't want to throw that away. I stared at her, completely frozen. I didn't know whether to be shocked or just sad. I managed to say, are you serious? Yes, Aiden. I know it sounds harsh, but I'm being honest. I like my life the way it is. I don't want to give up my body, my career, my freedom for something I don't even want. For a moment, it felt like the air went out of the room. I just sat there in silence, trying to find words that wouldn't come. This woman, the person I'd built a life with, was telling me that the idea of preserving her figure was more important than having a family together. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I just quietly stood up, walked into the living room, and sat there staring at nothing. And the more I thought about it, the more confused I got. Did I misunderstand her all these years? Did she change her mind? Or was this always how she felt, and I just didn't see it? I honestly don't know what to do next. This wasn't a small disagreement. This was something life-changing. I haven't talked to anyone about it yet. Not family, not friends. I'm sitting here typing this because I don't even know how to begin. Is this something couples can work through? Or is this the deal breaker? I spent the rest of that day sitting on the couch, running everything over and over in my head. Zoe went about her day like nothing happened. She made herself a smoothie, answered a few work emails, and even reminded me that we had dinner plans with friends next weekend. It was like the conversation never happened for her. But for me, everything felt different now. That night, after barely touching my dinner, I decided I needed to ask more. I wasn't angry. I was confused. I love this woman. I still do. But I couldn't just let this hang in the air like it didn't matter. So after we cleaned up, I sat down across from her in the living room and said, Zoe, can we talk? Really talk. She set her phone down and nodded. Yeah. What's up? I need to understand. Is this really about your body? Or is there more to it? She sighed, like she knew this was coming but didn't really want to deal with it. It's not just that. It's everything. Look at our life, Aiden. We have freedom. We travel. We go out when we want. We sleep in on weekends. I love our life. I love my job. I love having time for myself. I don't want to give that up. I nodded slowly, trying to stay calm. But did you never want kids? Or did something change? She hesitated. Then she said something that stung more than I expected. If I'm being honest, I think I convinced myself back then that maybe I could do it. Because it felt like that's what people expected. But the closer it got to being real, the more I realized I don't want it. I've seen my friends go through it. The toll it takes. The stress. The loss of identity. I don't want to become just a mom. Zoe, you wouldn't be just a mom. You'd be a mom, a wife, a person. We'd do it together. It wouldn't be all on you. She shook her head. I know you'd be a great dad. But that's the thing. I don't want to be a mom. It's not who I am. It's not what I want. I know that now. I leaned forward, elbows on my knees, trying to process. You know this isn't a small thing, right? This isn't like deciding what car to buy or where to vacation. This changes everything. I know, she said softly. But I'd rather be honest now than pretend and resent it later. I appreciated the honesty, as painful as it was. But the more she spoke, the more a quiet panic started settling in. This wasn't some temporary phase. She was clear, certain. I asked one last thing. What about adoption? Or surrogacy? Something that doesn't involve pregnancy, but still lets us have a family. She didn't even think about it. No, it's not just about pregnancy. I don't want the responsibility. I don't want to raise kids. Period. That was the moment it really sank in. This wasn't negotiable. This wasn't going to change. The house felt heavier after that. Zoe got up, went to shower, and then sat in bed scrolling through her phone like this was just another Tuesday. Meanwhile, I lay awake staring at the ceiling, realizing we were no longer the same couple we were yesterday. I kept thinking about everything we built together. The plans, the dreams, the future I thought we were working toward. And suddenly, it all felt like it was built on an assumption that wasn't real. Now I'm stuck wondering, can I stay in a marriage where something this important is permanently off the table? Or does this mean the end? The following days felt strange. We still lived under the same roof, doing the same things, eating dinner, watching Netflix, running errands. On the outside, nothing looked different. But inside, everything had shifted. I tried to go about my usual routine. Went to work, answered emails, sat through meetings. But my mind wasn't there. It kept circling back to the same question. What do I do now? I started thinking about what life would actually look like if I stayed. No kids. Just the two of us, forever. Some people might find that ideal. But the more I imagined it, the more it felt hollow. Not because being child-free is wrong. It's not. But because it's not what I wanted. I didn't just want to be a husband. I wanted to be a father. I wanted the chaos. The bedtime stories. The soccer games. The Christmas mornings with toys scattered all over the living room. The messy, beautiful life that comes with raising a family. And Zoe, she wanted none of that. Not now. Not ever. A few nights later, I finally broke the silence. We were having dinner, grilled chicken and salad, like always. And I set my fork down and said, Zoe, we need to talk about where this leaves us. She didn't look surprised. She nodded, wiped her hands, and waited. I'm trying to be fair about this. I really am. I love you. I always have. But I also have to be honest. I don't think I can be okay with never having a family. Her eyes softened a little. I figured this might be where we end up. I don't get it, Zoe. You knew how important this was to me. How did we get this far without really talking about it? She sighed. Because back then, I didn't know for sure. And part of me hoped maybe I'd change my mind. Or maybe you would. Or maybe it would just work itself out. But it didn't. And it won't. I can't force myself to want something I don't. It hurt to hear, but I respected the honesty. As hard as it was, neither of us were wrong. Neither of us were villains. We just wanted different lives. I asked her quietly, do you think this is it for us? She looked down for a long time before answering. I don't want to lose you, but I also won't lie to you about who I am. If having kids is something you can't give up, then maybe this is it. The silence that followed was heavier than anything I've ever felt. We didn't fight. There were no raised voices, no cruel words. Just this deep, mutual sadness that we were no longer the people who could give each other the life we both deserved. Over the next week, we talked logistics. Therapy was mentioned, but not as a fix, just as a way to help us navigate the separation. We agreed to be civil, respectful, even kind, because despite everything, we still loved each other. We just loved two different futures. I'm staying at a friend's place now while we figure out the next steps. Divorce, selling the house, moving on. All the stuff you never imagined doing when you say I do. I'm still processing it. Some moments, I feel relief, like I've made the right choice to stay true to what I want. Other moments, it feels like grief, like mourning a future that never got to happen. I don't hate Zoe, not even close. She was honest about who she was, and I have to respect that. But yeah, it hurts. A lot. I guess what I'm wondering now is, for anyone who's been through something like this, how do you start over? How do you rebuild when the life you planned just disappears? Would love to hear from anyone who's been here. I appreciate you watching till the end. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more content.